Right, so we have a 10-minute session with Will Brownsdon, who is the MD for EMEA at Hivestack. His presentation is Get Lit, see yourself on a billboard around the world, global digital out-of-home activation in real time. I literally can't wait for this. Round of applause for Will.
Hi guys, how's it going? Can everyone hear me all right? Because this is a bit of a first for me presenting, and yeah, I like that thumbs up as well. And it's so good to see you all in person as well. I've been here for almost a couple of days now, and to see people in person has been amazing. So thanks very much for your time. Very excited to be here. And as we've just been nicely introduced, I am Will Brownsdon, Managing Director at Hivestack. And for those of you that don't know Hivestack, we're basically a full stack solution for programmatic digital out-of-home delivery. And I'm here to talk to you a little bit about creativity and content delivery in out-of-home, but then also just look, with the onset of programmatic digital out-of-home, which is really new, like what's the opportunities for brands? Like what's the interesting bit? Where we see ourselves in the future as well? And look, when it comes to kind of creativity, I think everyone knows the power of a good creative. I've actually just come out of a talk with Jack Hinchcliffe, who's the CMO of KFC, and he did some amazing kind of introduction to how they're using AI to basically change creative on the fly and actually really drive brand growth and profitability in a really, really smart way. So you've seen that kind of firsthand, and it's actually an account that I used to work on as well. So it's been really interesting to see that talk happen. But also as well, in the out-of-home space, creativity is so important because really you're in a public space. You're in these huge billboards. You've got literally seconds to grab people's attention. And it's really, really interesting to see how out-of-homes evolve, really not just in terms of kind of out-of-home formats, but actually the way in which people think about delivering creative to kind of capture people's attention, whether that be from kind of disruption, using kind of humor. It could be anything from neuroscience, or even looking to how people actually look and feel in different environments and out-of-home, and actually how they consume those billboards, as in, do they read them left to right? Or how does the color and contrast work in those different environments? So, look, it's so important to watch that evolution over time. It's been really, really interesting. And I think, look, from the original days of the classic billboard, this is really kind of the standard which set the kind of, I guess, paper and paste industry. And I think everyone will kind of remember this one as the flagship. Eva Herzigova, the Wonder Bra ad. I mean, everyone kind of remembers this, and you don't get much more disruptive than that. I wonder how many traffic jams this caused, and also how many, I guess, crashes it caused from this one. But really, this is looking at everything that you need to look at in terms of how to deliver a good creative in out-of-home. And it evolved very, very quickly from there. So, after a few years, we're really looking about the production quality of an out-of-home hand. So still static, but also, again, not from paper and paste, but introducing kind of vinyl and actually kind of all-weather creative, high definition, looking actually what's the context of that individual site, who's going to be passing by there, what type of audience is going to be passing there, and almost creating kind of installation. So using the physical billboard itself to create more engaging, something that you can share across online and other channels as well. So it's really interesting to see how the production value of just what's come from that paper and paste to now. And then the big one changed. The biggest disruptor of all, so the one that's the most of interest for me as well, is digital out-of-home. And actually, anyone who spent a little bit of time in out-of-home, and I spent a long time in the kind of specialist part of the out-of-home world, this really was a disruptor. Because you've got to start thinking about people's behavior throughout the day, and even looking at this poster now, like think about everything that went into planning and creating this poster. It's referencing the time of day. So all of a sudden now, we have to think about the mindset there. Simple stuff, look, just before lunchtime, everyone knows that we're getting hungry. This is the time that we're presenting a solution for what we know is a mindset at that particular time. But then also referencing, look, what's the solution for it and how far away is it? So we're actually referencing now like how many meters you are away from solving that kind of hunger problem that you've got. So just, obviously the consumer doesn't notice this, but the amount of effort that goes into actually delivering a digital billboard in this way is like fascinating for me. And then also as well, one of my favorite digital out-of-home ads, for me, I know it doesn't look anything special, but again, when you really look at it, exactly how it's been delivered, it's perfect for me. Look, it's a rainy UK day, it's dreary outside, you're coming home and the darkness is happening. All of a sudden now, you're presented with this ad that's basically triggered by the weather itself. Used to its fullest capability, so subtle motions here. You can't see it from this static image, but actually the steam was coming up off the soup itself. And again, it kind of using those, I guess, every single screen to its full capacity the contrast between the warming of the red, very easy to see, look, this is the solution for my problem now, my mindset at this particular time, and it's impossible to miss Heinz in literally a split second. And then it's about kind of triggers. So all of a sudden now we can trigger based on weather and temperature. This is a campaign that Diageo did, multi-layered. So they've got a huge amount of products they're doing, but they're activating them all at the different times based on different triggers as well. You can see, again, the kind of sophistication level rising and rising. And obviously, the flagship one, I think everyone remembers this one. And it is an incredible campaign. You're looking at referencing, again, which flight is coming, actually when that kind of plane is passing by, where's it flying to? An incredible amount of detail that goes into this, but also as well, the creative itself. It's that kind of childlike awe and wonder of being able to fly. And I'm sure all of us would love to fly right now. I certainly would love to get on a holiday. So, you know, it's really amazing to see, again, like first-party data being used by Spotify to actually engage with customers on massive premium digital billboards all over the kind of local cities here. And that just with a little bit of humor, you know, that kind of Valentine's Day messages as well. It's just really, really simple, easy ways in which we can engage with people out of home. And so hopefully you can see from that initial kind of paper and paste ad how we've transitioned out of home in kind of out of home. But really now that the conversation's changed, when you look at those ads, they're very much local ads. They're local market activations. They could be tactile, maybe on 2 or 3 sites. And with the onset of programmatic digital out of home, that conversation's changed to a local conversation, really to being a global discussion. Because all of a sudden we can do those activations. Oh, I seem to have lost my next slide. So we can actually change those activations from being a local discussion really to a global discussion. And digital out of home as a whole in the UK reaches about 85% of the population. Hopefully it'll work this time. Let's see. Yes, this is good news. So, you know, digital out of home in the UK reaches 85% of the population. So 85% of 70 million people. Just imagine now if you can reach 85% of 7 billion people. And this is where, again, it becomes incredibly interesting from a kind of programmatic delivery. All the time we're seeing now out-of-home being onboarded in various different out-of-home SSPs. When I wake up in the morning and log into Hivestack platform, I'm now able to see pink dots, because pink is our color, appearing all over the world. And you've got to think about what that represents in terms of the physical space. You know, these are screens from which customers are passing by every single day in different mindsets. And also as well, look, what's the opportunity? What's the opportunity for brands? And when you actually look at this, you know, this is some videos I found of literally people just walking through the streets. I know it sounds a bit dull, but I spent hours looking at this, and you can see the opportunity there is for brands. All of a sudden now, we shouldn't look at local markets. We should be looking at global audiences moving through different physical spaces and environments, and how do we target them? And look how many screens they're actually exposed to on a daily basis. I mean, it's incredible to see, and actually now programmatic allows you to be able to do that. And just as a little bit of stunt, we saw, you know, just yesterday, sort of beginning of yesterday, there was basically some portraits that were being taken of various different guests that have been here. And we want to basically show how quick and flexible it is now to actually deliver that in out of home. And so we took those portraits, we dropped them into a template, and we actually delivered them all around the world. So these are live sites that have been taken by suppliers that have sent to us. So, you know, near and here that we took a picture of yesterday is now live in the streets of Singapore. They're live in London as well with Helen. Emma's live in our home country of our HQ in Canada via All Vision. Don, who's just literally opposite our cabana over there, he is now live in Hong Kong as well. Demi and Alicia, and this is in New York City. And I don't know if anyone recognizes this person, but Sir Martin very kindly allowed us to take his picture, and he is now on the streets of Tokyo as well. So those are literally, and you can come over to the cabana now, you can see that the impressions being played out as we speak. And there's just a kind of, I guess, an example of how quickly we can activate on a global level. And when you add that into really kind of all the things that we benefit from programmatic, the flexibility, the buy control, and you add that to what out-of-home does well, and that's delivering mass audiences at scale, you've got a really, really powerful solution in one platform. And that's it from me. Thank you very much, guys. Cheers. And thanks very much to our suppliers who helped out as well. Thank you.
Quick question from me. So I love all of the contextual creative examples. You know, it's warm outside, have a gin, it's raining, have some soup. I mean, it's instantly so cool and creative. But what happens when everyone's doing that? Remember the first personalized email you got? And mine said, "Dear Tom," and I was like, "Oh my God, it knows my name." But the second time I didn't care. Third time, I only notice if it's not there now. So what's going to happen when everyone does contextual ads and it's like, yeah, I don't care that it's raining, I don't care that it's sunny, just get out of my way? What is the next creative innovation that you're looking forward to?
That's a really interesting question. I think hopefully we can get to that point. And certainly it's very much in its infancy, programmatic digital out of home. Certainly we're seeing the use of different types of triggers all the time, and the complexity of them are sort of coming through and through. Look, I'd love to get there. You're exactly right, and out of home has a limited amount of inventory. It's not like online where you can keep adding impressions. I think what I would really love to see is that, to the limit that we can deliver it at, is that every single ad that's delivered in out of home is delivered to its full capacity. And I think that's all you can ask of digital out of home, unless you create more inventory and more screens. And that's what I was talking about when you're reaching 85% of 7 billion people, is that you'll see what's happening in the UK happen in all the major cities, and that's where obviously the mass audiences are, and that's what I'd love to see. I'd love to see every single ad delivered in a contextual way and out of home.
That'd be fantastic. Round of applause. Thank you very much.